As I sit here, I got to tell you two things. Number one, I don't think that Christian Bale is the best Batman or the best Bruce Wayne for that matter. And that probably spawns the comment, well, Mr. X, that's really curious because I know you have another Christian Bale Batman statue, this 1/3 scale from Queen Studios. So why on earth would you buy JNDs? Why would you buy another Christian Bale Batman? I didn't buy this. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to look at another amazing JND statue. So if you're not familiar with this, JND is a newer company out of Korea, South Korea I believe, and over the last 2 years they have made these 1/3 scale DCU pieces. So pieces from the different DC universes out there. I currently own two. I own the Catwoman, which is also from the Dark Knight trilogy, which I quite like, and then I own their Wonder Woman 82. Now, as a disclaimer, I thought that movie was horrible, but that statue is one of my favorites. They did recently announce that they are making a new Wonder Woman from the Justice League, so this piece right here, and I do have it on order, but I'm probably going to sell it, and when I say probably, I am. So they're making some Dark Knight pieces. Now, I have another Dark Knight statue. It's not from JND, which I'll talk about in a little bit. It's this one from Brighton Road Studios, the Bane. I was really a big fan of Tom Hardy's performance of Bane. And while I don't think Christian Bale is the best Batman or the best Bruce Wayne, I think those movies are the best. They're very entertaining. I love the storylines. I love the comedic quips. I love the characters, the development. So that's why I am a fan, even though I don't think he's the best Batman. Now, the reason I have him on the table is I can truly say this. It's one of my pet peeves when people say it, but my good friend at Spec Fiction, because he slept with me before in my house. Well, maybe a little more. Todd sent this over to me to review. I'm not keeping it. I don't get a kickback. I got to box it up and ship it back. But he sent this over to me to review because there's a little bit of controversy with this statue, which we are going to talk about today. So JND, the reason they're so big in the game right now, they're making 1/3 scale, so 3 times smaller. They're making DC pieces, and they all have two things in common. One, they are what they call hyper-realistic, which means that they actually use medical-grade silicone on all the skin parts. They use rooted hair, so hair that's actually punched in, real hair, and then also glass eyes, and then the last part is this museum-style base. So they all kind of fit together, even though they're from different movies and different universes. So not only are we going to do a review on this today, but I'm going to do a comparison video of this versus Queen. And I think each one has its pros and cons, but we'll pick a winner. So make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subbed to the channel and hit that bell notification. But let's jump into JND's Christian Bale Batman, starting with the base. And as you've heard me say hundreds of times before, I'm not a fan of museum-style bases, unless you can make it work. And here they make it work for a few different reasons. One, it's very classy, and that means it looks like a museum-style piece, but it also matches all the other characters, whether it's the Catwoman that directly matches with this because it's from the same trilogy, or some other DCU pieces. And on top of that, they do a simple base. So here they chose concrete. Doesn't look bad, doesn't look good. The sculpt is done really good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really tell a big storyline. And as you saw, there is another portrait display we'll talk about. But he is in his uniform from The Dark Knight. So this is the second movie in the trilogy, the best one, with Heath Ledger, which for the record, they have made a companion Heath Ledger statue that has been out for a while. I never picked it up. I have the Queen one, but we'll talk more about that later. So he's standing there in a museum-style pose because these are museum-style statues, so not a lot of dynamic action to him. He has his classic Bat utility belt. He has the armor plating. And these suits are pretty cool. You know, when I was young, I remember the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, which I love. I saw that in the theaters in San Francisco. But the suits get cooler and cooler throughout the time. And also from a functionality perspective, they even talk about that a lot within the movies. And then as you move up, you see his portrait. So right now, I have his uncowled or unmasked portrait, which is what some of the controversies around, which we're going to address. But realistically, the biggest issue is people thought he looked too old on the Batman statue. And I definitely see that. We'll look at it more when we look at paint and sculpt, but I think the likeness is there as well. So how do I rate the concept on this piece? It's very boring, but it's very intentional to be like that. So I still give it a 3 out of 5. It's still good. It's still what you pay for. It's what you expect. Design. These aren't entirely complex statues, despite the heavy price tag we're going to talk about. Here is the quick unboxing and assembly. So here's the box, also another JND statue blowout you'll see in a few days. They go all out with packaging with JND, which I would hope so. Like I said, they're kind of museum style, high price tag. They have a nice COA, kind of hard to see under the light because it's all black, but here's a picture right here. And this was 2 layers. The first layer was Batman himself and a few of the parts that you're going to put on him. His head was attached, but it still can be unattached. And then you have the bottom layer with the base upside down. Now I wanted to throw this picture in here. The eyes actually aren't in the head. Kind of weird. Let me get dimensions for you. I believe all of their museum style bases are the same. Yep, they're all 12 by 12. And then the tallest point is just under 28 inches. His ears on his cowl are probably a little bit higher. Check out Spec Fiction's website if you want to check out the specific dimensions. There's a link for that in the description below. 2 display options for his portrait. First is the unmasked, which we've been looking at right here, which doesn't really go with the statue in my opinion, but it's so cool to have. And then you have the cowled one, which looks incredibly badass. And for some reason, every Batman statue of Christian Bale, he's always looking up. The cape is a fabric or mixed media cape, so you can try and display it how you want. It doesn't have any wires, so you can't pose it. It just falls to the side, which that's typically what I do anyway, so it's not a big deal. So you saw me put the hands on. They could have done some different type of hand switch out. Him holding a grappling gun, maybe an open palm, something like that. I think that's a little bit of a miss, but again, I think the design is a 3 out of 5. Paint and sculpt is really difficult on this one because like I said, I think that Christian Bale looks a little bit too old. Although now I've had him sit on the table for a day or two, I can definitely see him, maybe it's like Benjamin Button, he's getting younger, or maybe I'm just getting used to it. The likeness is 100% there, and with the cowl on, he looks incredibly badass as you saw. But here's some close-up video for the paint and sculpt. Now, despite my problems conceptually with the base, you have to admit they do it really well. I love the shine they put on the exterior and then the 3D logo just coming right out at you, not only the name of the movie, so it really does give it that classy vibe. And even the concrete on top is done really well. It's really dark because of the reflection of the darker suit here, but it just looks fantastic, looks like real concrete, so a lot of props to that. This suit is absolutely amazing. The intricate detail in it, you know, the body armor, layered on body armor, you have mostly black with a few of those translucent pieces right there that actually have some reflection to them. I think they look great. But even if you zoom in right here, not only the texturing on the side of the boot, you can assume those are some type of ventilation, but look at the wrinkles that they put in the boot. Very realistic of what it would look like. The treads on the bottom, more venting on the top of the bottom part there, looks great. And you see kind of that venting texture work in between the body armor plates. Assumably that makes Batman able to move. You can see it right here. The thing I always wondered about with Batman's suit, especially when you look at it this close, is that probably takes a long time to get on. In most emergencies, you know, the cape is fine. It feels very nice. It feels a lot nicer than it looks. It doesn't look bad. Mine's a little wrinkly from coming out of the box, obviously, but it has kind of a shine on the inside and then more of a matte on the exterior. There's the 3D bat symbol. This suit is absolutely fantastic. His wrist blades there look great. And again, so many different layers. But looking at the portraits, so first the cowled portrait, you know, he's always looking up. I noticed that with a few other Christian Bale statues, maybe just his trademark look. But really nice job with the silicone around the mouth. I'm glad they didn't make his lips too pursed. Very clean shaven, as he typically is in the movies. And then as you saw in the pictures of the assembly, I like how just the blackened part is around the eyes there, and those are glass eyes, pretty cool looking. And the cowl looks fantastic too, very screen accurate. But his portrait is what we want to look at. First, I think they got the hair spot on. Fantastic job on the hair, and they put enough hair gel in there to really keep it in place, although it is all rooted in and you can actually comb it whatever way you wanted. But as you know, we are here to look at the portrait. So first of all, it's always amazing to me how they can get the eyebrows in there. There's a little bit of fleck of white styrofoam. But this does look like a sickly Bruce Wayne. Reminds me a lot more of The Dark Knight Returns, or The Dark Knight Rises, instead of The Dark Knight. And I don't know if it's the texture on his skin. I think he's a little bit skinnier in the face than he should be, than he was in The Dark Knight. And the expression is really interesting. It does have the likeness of Christian Bale, there's no doubt, but I don't think it's the Christian Bale of The Dark Knight. I think it's the Christian Bale probably of today with dyed hair. I think that's where it's really lacking. And again, we'll see some comparisons with the Queen when I actually do that video. But still, very realistic. Looks like a real person. And again, silicone has that movement to it. It's kind of freaky. So in summary, fantastic suit, fantastic cowled face. Great likeness on the unmasked face, just wrong decade of Christian Bale. I'm going to give the sculpt a 4 out of 5, almost a 5 out of 5. If it was the cowled version only, I would 100% say 5 out of 5 on the sculpt. Paint, I think, is a really solid 5 out of 5 as well. Not only on the silicone, but the suit, everything looks absolutely great. Now, is this worth it or not? When I first started collecting, these size of statues were about $700 to $800. Then they slowly started to rise up. Then JND came out and said, you know what, we're using medical grade silicone. We're the best at what we do. We're going to charge twice the going market, which that's how much this guy costs. He's about $2,700. That is from Spec Fiction. I think retailers were right around $2,500. When you buy from a third party that you can trust, sometimes there's extra fees because they take care of the international shipping and stuff like that to get it if you're buying it from the States. Made 900 of these. Now, really interesting, what I love JND's doing, because they did this with the Pattinson Batman as well, that's also available on Spec Fiction's website, is they make not only a Batman, but they make a corresponding Bruce Wayne, as you can see right here. And they make it so it can actually be on a shared base. So you would get the Batman and the Bruce Wayne, which again, Spec Fiction also carries, and it's not double the price as it should be. And I like the Bruce Wayne a lot more than I like the Batman. Although you can see, I think the Batman's pretty good as well. I think the value's fine. It's what the going rate is. Prime 1 Studios around $1,800 to $2,000. This is about 20-30% more, but it has all of those medical grade features. And if you're doing the entire line, whether it's like all the Dark Knight pieces together, Heath Ledger, Bruce Wayne, Batman, Catwoman, or all the DCU, or all the different Batmans, tons of different options to display these together. I think the value's solid. I think that it's a 4 out of 5. We typically see these sell for more in the aftermarket, which is a good indicator of that. There's been a few characters that haven't gone that route, but I would say a good majority of them have. So make sure to check out Spec Fiction. Again, there's a link in the description below. I'm a big fan of Spec Fiction. They're one of the distributors I buy from all the time. And as a reminder, Todd's even come to my house, so you can check out this crazy video. One of many crazy videos we actually did together. Does he have the X Factor? So I didn't order him because I had the Queen. I don't think he has the X Factor, but I do really like him. I think it's a solid 4 out of 5 statue. I'm really interested to get that Queen Studios one down here and really compare and contrast them, because I don't know which one I'm going to like better. I'm going to keep the queen because this one belongs to Todd. With that being said, I always ask you guys for comments. That helps the channel exposure, but more importantly, it enters you into a statue giveaway. So please first make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We need to get to the next giveaway very soon. We don't need to, but it makes me feel all good inside. But comment below, does he look like Benjamin Button? Is he too old? Throw that down in the comments below. I love to read your comments, and then you're entered for the statue giveaway. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you wanna make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on the comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. But again, thank you so much to Todd. I will get him boxed up and sent back. I really appreciate you guys. Please give Todd a like, or at least the video a like for Todd lending me this. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.